Hi lifers, PJ here and welcome back to Midlife Models. In this episode of Ruined to Refreshed we're going to be looking at 5 vehicles. Last time we did 4, this time we're going to do 5, and this one to me is going to be a bit special. So we'll reposition the camera, have a look at the turntable and see what models we're going to be working on. Cheers. Okay then, so here are 5 models, 4 black taxi cabs, and in the middle a very special donation from a family member, and this is a Corgi's Toys made in Great Britain Jaguar 2.4 Litre. Now I've already taken this apart because I wanted to well, make sure I could get it apart alright really, but as you can see this is a really early model. It's got no interior other than the plastic canopy for the windows. It's got steel wheels. I managed to get the 2 tyres off the front. I'm going to be not restoring it, I'm going to be refreshing it and doing it a slightly different colour. So we'll see how that turns out later on. And then we've got these Matchbox Taxi FX FR 1/60th scale from 1986. And we've got 2 of those. Yep, we've got 2 of those. We'll be doing those 2 obviously. And then we've got 2 Corgis, and as you can see, which I find strange, the Corgi one that's made in China has actually got a steel base. So whether that was when the company was sold, when it was first sold, and they hadn't come out with plastic chassis yet, but this one is made in Great Britain and it's got a plastic chassis. Set of bizarre circumstances there, but there we go. So they're the models we're going to be working on. I've already, as I said, disassembled this one. We'll do a quick drilling out of the flanges of one of these taxis to show you how that's done, and then I'll do the rest off camera, and then after that we'll be putting parts into the caustic soda stroke paint stripper depending on how they turn out. So catch you in a few. Okay, so this, if you're new to the channel, this is basically how we remove a chassis. What we do is try and drill the head off this rivet, so the chassis will just gently separate from the body. And the way to do it is to use a drill bit that is slightly larger than the head of the flange. So we'll give it a go on this one and then I'll do the rest off screen. Oh, there we go. And finally it's come off. A little gentle persuasion. So what we're going to do is we're going to drill down these post holes, and then they'll be tapped and threaded for a new bolt. The chassis just wants a good polishing, I think, although I'm not highly struck on these wheels. I've got a bit of bend in one of them. Does the canopy just drop out? Yes, it does. So on this particular one, I've seen this before, not a lot of attention has gone into the steering wheel, it's just a circular blob. So we may respray those canopies on each of the models. And then the interior glass, how's that going to come out? Is it going to come out without too much force? I don't know whether you can see inside there, that panel is clipped in behind this pillar. There we go. I think it's the same on the other side. Yes, there we go. I have to figure out how to get the doors. Okay, so we got a bit of fun and games with this interior. Alright, there it is, it's come out. And so with the doors, or one off. I think they're just it may only take one part to really hold you up. On this car it might be this door. Oh, there it goes. So there we go, that's drilling the flange to get the body off. As I say, I've already done it with the Jag, and I've got 3 more to do, 3 more taxi bodies to separate, so we'll do that off screen and then we'll be back with some paint stripping, so catch you in a few. Okay guys, here we are in the lab, and we're about to put our 2 victims, which in this case are the Jag body and chassis, wearing our obligatory PPE. We're going to cover our models and our parts with hot water. And then we're going to add our caustic soda. I'm going to wait until I've disassembled all the taxi bodies and chassis, and I'll do them all in one go. But with this being an older model, I wanted to do it separate and be able to crack on with it. And as you can see, that's reacting really quickly on this body of this Jag. It's amazing how this caustic soda reacts differently depending on the age of a model or the paint that the manufacturers have used, but even I can tell from the colour of the water's changing that that's rapidly removing the paint. It's almost all gone already. So we're going to leave that for about 15 minutes to give it a good soaking in this instance, because it's working so quickly, and then we'll have a look what it's like once we removed all the paint. Catch you in a few. Now, welcome back, folks. What we're looking at doing in this clip is priming the Jag body and priming the Jag chassis. I'll show you the chassis in a moment, so let's get the body done. So pretty much as always, I'm using the Tamiya fine and grey surface primer. This stuff never seems to let me down, and we can already see how it highlights all the details on the chassis, on the body. And as you can see with the chassis, I've isolated the wheel hubs by putting some masking tape around them, and we'll do the chassis. Well, there we go. Okay, we're making so poor a job of videoing the priming. We'll try and do the glossing or the top coat a bit better. So I'm using some Super Deck spray paint. This is green. And we'll see what this goes on like. I think we'll end up probably giving this another coat in about half an hour, but that's a gorgeous green colour. I'm happy with that. Put that to dry. And for the base, what I'm going to be using this is Alfred's Gloss Black. A quick job. Hopefully you can make that out. And hopefully I've shot this video a bit better. Welcome back, folks, and here we are on the turntable with the Jag, and as you can see, the body has been now painted and hardened. The chassis has been painted, and hardened. The glass has been polished, but this little model hasn't been without its own issues. And it's a schoolboy error, so I have to admit to it. I did say that if I made any mistakes I would show them as well as the victories. So the posts were drilled, and before I'd realised it, I'd over drilled or used a drill too big. So obviously I can't tap it. So I was furious about that. Perhaps trying to rush a model, I don't know. Anyway, what I've ended up doing is I've took a leaf out of Bob Willis's videos, and I've managed to find some roundhead nails in my shed. And what I'm going to do, I've cut these to size, and they just fit in, and then once the body's been super glued together with these studs in, I'll touch them up with black paint to match the chassis. So next step is to glue in the plastic windows. Not a lot to this model, and reassemble the chassis and glue the studs in. So we'll have a look at that next. Okay, so here we are with the body and our glass panel, and what we're going to do is we're going to drop the panel in, and I'm going to apply some of this thin Tamiya extra thin cement. I hear this on my plastic kits. And we're just going to drop that around there. So it won't flow all around the roof. And it's got a capillary action, this glue, so it will find any area that it can, and it'll work its way into the gaps in between and create a bond. So we're going to let that dry, and then we'll reassemble the rest of the body. Okay folks, we're back again. Our plastic glass section's been put into place and glued. I'm just going to drop the front wheels in and the chassis, and then we're going to drop some super glue into these post holes, which I'm going to do now. And over the top of that we'll drop one of our newly created rivets. And the same again with the two at the back. There ought to be one. Oh, there it goes. And there we go. And as I said, what I will do is to touch these up with some black paint. Just brush it on to match the chassis. And the next time we see this will be on the turntable with its accents and highlights. So catch you in a few. So here she is, the Corgi Toys Jaguar 2.4 litre. Since the last clip, what I have done is to add the accents, which is basically silver hand paint, to the bumpers, the lights and the grille, and at the back we've done exactly the same. And just added some red for the lights. I did say I was going to paint the underside on the, I was going to paint the studs on the underside black. What I did do in the end was to paint them with the same silver paint that I used for the bumpers. It doesn't quite give you the originality of the rivets that were in there in the first place, but it's a bit of a added touch really. Now, I also mentioned that this was going to be 5 for the price of 1, but I got so wrapped up in doing this model for the family member that donated it. I just wanted to show him that he hadn't donated his childhood vehicles in vain, and that wouldn't just throw him in a cupboard and forget about him. And I've since posted it on Facebook, and he thinks it's brilliant. So that's good enough for me. That's what it was all about. So there you go, guys. The Jaguar Corgi Toys 2.4 litre. I'm going to make this part 1 because it's only, I think it's only fair that I finish off the fleet of black taxis that I mentioned at the beginning of the video. So that'll be coming up in part 2. So we'll be doing them over the next 2 or 3 days. So this has turned out better than I hoped. I'm really pleased with it, and we'll see you in the next episode. Cheers.